Alright, welcome everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a practice exam for the Security Plus. I purchased these practice tests from Udemy. They seem to be pretty good so far. They seem to be a little bit more difficult than what you might see on the actual test. So I'm going to run through the whole test, 50 questions, and then at the end we'll go through the answers. So if you want to take the test with me, just go question by question. You can pause the video if you want to take a guess at what you think the answer is. We'll go ahead and start. Security analyst, let me just zoom in a little bit. Security analyst has been tasked with ensuring all programs that are deployed into the enterprise have been assessed in a runtime environment. Any critical issues found in the program must be sent back to the developer for verification and remediation. Which of the following best describes the type of assessment taking place? I'm going to go with dynamic code analysis. A security engineer must deploy 2 wireless routers in an office suite. Other tenants in the office building should not be able to connect to this wireless network. Which of the following protocols should the engineer implement to ensure the strongest encryption? I'm going to go with WPS on this one. Security architect is required to deploy to conference rooms some workstations that will allow sensitive data to be displayed on large screens. Due to the nature of the data, it cannot be stored in the conference rooms. The file share is located in a local data center. Which of the following should the security architect recommend to best meet the requirements? Some workstations that will allow sensitive data to be displayed on large screens. Nature of the data cannot be stored in the conference rooms. The file share is located in a local data center. I'm going to go with thin clients and VDI. A company is required to continue using legacy software to support a critical service. Which of the following best explains a risk of this practice? Could be insecure protocols, could be lack of vendor support, weak encryption. I'm going to go with unsecure protocols. An attacker has determined the best way to impact operations is to infiltrate third-party software vendors. So right away that's going to be supply chain. A major political party experienced a server breach. The hacker then publicly posted stolen internal communications concerning campaign strategies to give the opposition party an advantage. Which of the following best describes this threat? Actors, so state actors. Company has a flat network in the cloud. The company needs to implement a solution to segment its production and non-production servers without migrating to a new network. Which of the following solutions should the company implement? VLAN, I believe. Which of the following explains why RTO is included in a BIA? I think it's the amount of allowable downtime for an application. I forget what RTO stands for, but I believe it's to do with allowable downtime. Which of the following is a policy that provides a greater depth and breadth of knowledge across an organization? That would have to be job rotation. So yeah, if I'm going too quick, you guys can just pause the video if you want your own chance to answer the question. A security analyst needs to produce a document that details how a security incident occurred, the steps that were taken for recovery, and how future incidents can be avoided. Which of the following stages of response process? Lessons learned. Chief Information Security Officer of a bank recently updated the incident response policy. CSO is concerned that members of the incident response team do not understand their roles. The bank wants to test the policy with the least amount of resources. I would have thought it was a tabletop walkthrough. tabletop walkthrough. A social media company based in North America is looking to expand into new global markets, needs to maintain compliance with international standards. Which of the following is the company's data protection officer most likely concerned? GDPR is Europe, NIST framework, I believe, is the answer for this. An annual information security assessment has revealed that several OS level configurations are not in compliance due to outdated hardening standards the company is using. Which of the following would be best to use to update and reconfigure OS level security configurations? I'm not actually sure on this. I know it's not GDPR guidance. I'm going to go with ISO. Not in compliance due to outdated hardening standards. Update and reconfigure OS level security. I think it's ISO. Which of the following is used to ensure that evidence is admissible in legal proceedings when it is collected and provided to the authorities? Chain of custody. Which of the following is the most effective way to detect security flaws present on third-party libraries embedded on software before it is released? I think it's increased the number of penetration tests, but I'm not sure. While investigating a recent security incident, a security analyst decides to view all network connections on a particular server. Which of the following would provide the desired information? All network connections will be netstat. A security analyst is tasked with defining something you are factor of the company's MFA settings. Which of the following is best to use to complete? Something you are, a vein. A user's account is constantly being locked out. Upon further review, a security analyst found the following in the SIM. You can't see it, but because it's being constantly locked out, I'm going to say brute force. Company acquired several other small companies. The company that acquired the others is transitioning network services to the cloud. The company wants to make sure that performance and security remain intact. So they're migrating it into the cloud and they're going to make sure performance and security. So integration and auditing would be the choice. User received an SMS on a mobile phone that asked for bank details. Which of the following social engineering techniques? Because it's an SMS, it's smishing. Which of the following is a known security risk associated with data archives that contain financial information? I think its data can become a liability if archived longer than required, I believe. A network engineer created 2 subnets that will be used for production and development servers. Per security policy, production and development servers must each have a dedicated network. They cannot communicate with one another directly. Which of the following should be deployed? I'm going to say VLANs. An attacker browses a company's online job board attempting to find any relevant information regarding the technologies the company uses. Has to be reconnaissance, right? Systems engineer wants to leverage a cloud-based architecture with low latency between network-connected devices that also reduces the bandwidth that is required by performing analytics directly on the endpoints. Which of the following would best meet the requirements? Okay, so cloud-based architecture with low latency between network reduces bandwidth that is required by performing analytics directly on the endpoints. I'm actually not sure even what they're asking here. I'm going to say hybrid cloud. Actually, performing analytics directly on the endpoints. This one's going to have to be a guess. I'm going to leave it at hybrid cloud, but I was leaning towards infrastructure as a service. Reduces the bandwidth that is required. Yeah, I'm just going to have to guess. An administrator is configuring a firewall rule set for a subnet to only access DHCP web pages and SFTP, and to specifically block FTP. So DHCP web pages and SFTP, and to block FTP. I'm going to have to refresh my knowledge on all of the port numbers, so I'm just going to have to take a guess on that one. A security analyst is reviewing web application logs and finds the following log, and the log is not there, so it's going to have to be a guess. I'm going to go with cross-site scripting. Which of the following controls is used to make an organization initially aware? Initially aware would be detective. A user reports falling for a phishing email to an analyst. Which of the following system logs would the analyst check first? Phishing email would be DNS. A company is moving its retail website to a public cloud server. The company wants to tokenize credit card data, but not allow the cloud provider to see the stored credit card number or information. Which of the following would best meet these objectives? Tokenize credit card data, but not allow the cloud provider to see the stored information. It's not going to be a web application firewall. It's not going to be a VPN. I think it's TLS. Which of the following would best? I'm going to go with TLS because it's not allowing the credit card company to see the stored data. Which of the following is a security best practice that ensures the integrity of aggregated log files within a SIEM? I think it's going to be setup hashing. Yeah, you have to hash the source log files. Security analyst is receiving several alerts per user and is trying to determine if various logins are malicious. The security analyst would like to create a baseline of normal operations and reduce noise. Which of the following actions should the security analyst perform? Receiving several alerts per user and is trying to determine if various logins are malicious. The security analyst would create a baseline of normal operations. Reduce noise. I think it's going to be adjust the data flow from authentication sources to the SIEM. The concept of connecting a user account across systems of multiple enterprises is best known as federation. Single sign-on is a subset of federation. President of a regional bank likes to frequently provide SOC tours to potential investors. Which of the following policies best reduces the risk of malicious activity? It's not password complexity, acceptable use, no. Access control, clean desk. I'm going to go with clean desk. Security analyst is evaluating the risk of authorizing multiple security solutions to collect data from the company's cloud environment. Which of the following is an immediate consequence of these integrations? Multiple security solutions to collect data from the company's cloud environment. Increasing the attack surface. Yeah, that seems the most likely. Which of the following control types fixes a previously identified issue and mitigates a risk? Corrective. Which of the following prevents an employee from seeing a colleague who is visiting an inappropriate website? Acceptable use policy. Which of the following can work as an authentication method and as an alerting mechanism for unauthorized access attempts? That is push notifications. An organization would like to give remote workers the ability to use applications hosted inside the corporate network. Users will be allowed to use their personal computers, or they will be provided organization assets. Either way, no data or applications will be installed locally on any user systems. Which of the following mobile solutions would accomplish these goals? That's mobile device management. A company recently decided to allow its employees to use their personally owned devices for tasks like checking emails, messaging, using mobile applications. The company would like to use MDM, but employees are concerned about the loss of personal data. Which of the following should the IT department implement to best protect the company against company data loss while still addressing the employees' concerns, which is loss of personal data? So perform a factory reset. No, that's not it. Configure MDM software to enforce the use of pins. Enable the remote wiping option in case the phone is stolen. I think it's going to be enforce the use of pins. An analyst is trying to identify insecure services that are running on the internal network. After performing a port scan, the analyst identifies a server has some insecure services enabled on default ports. Which of the following best describes the services that are currently running and the secure alternatives? So it should be Telnet and SSH. Which of the following best describes the process of documenting who has access to evidence? Chain of custody. A security analyst is reviewing the vulnerability scan report for a web server following an incident. The vulnerability that was used to exploit the server is present in historical vulnerability scan reports, and a patch is available. Which of the following is the most likely case? It's not a 0 day. It's not a false negative. It should be security patches were uninstalled due to user impact. The user wanted to catch up on some work over the weekend but had issues logging into the corporate network. On Monday they opened a ticket but the issue was resolved. Which of the following best describes the policy? Time-based logins because it was over the weekend. Geofencing's due to the location. Actually, you know what? Because he was at home, it might be geofencing. Because it restricts you from logging in from a certain location. During an incident response process involving a laptop, a host was identified as the entry point for malware. The management team would like to have the laptop restored and given back to the user. The security analyst would like to continue investigating the intrusion on the host. Which of the following would allow the analyst to continue the investigation and also return the laptop to the user as soon as possible? It's not head. It's not... Have the laptop restored and given back to the user, but the analyst would like to continue investigating. So DD creates a copy. So does memory dump. Actually, no. I think it's DD. CISO wants to ensure that the organization is validating and checking the integrity of zone transfers. Which of the following solutions should be implemented? DNSSEC, I believe. Define resiliency requirements for new data center architecture. The requirements are as follows. That must be IAC, infrastructure as code. An analyst is reviewing logs associated with an attack. The logs indicate an attacker downloaded a malicious file that was quarantined by an AV solution. Antivirus solution. The attacker utilized a local non-administrative account to restore the malicious file to a new location. The file was then used by another process to execute a payload. Which of the following attacks? Utilize a local non-administrative account to restore the malicious file to a new location. Like, the only one that makes sense here is privilege escalation, because they logged in as a non-administrative account. A web server has been compromised due to a ransomware attack. Further investigation reveals the ransomware has been in the server for the past 72 hours. The systems administrator needs to get the services back up as soon as possible. Which of the following should the administrator use to restore services? The last incremental backup, that was 72 hours ago. The following processes will eliminate data using a method that will allow the storage device to be reused. Overwriting. Recent external audit, the compliance team provided a list of several non-compliant in-scope hosts that were not encrypting credit card holder data at rest. Which of the following compliance frameworks would address the compliance team's greatest concerns? That would be PCI. Finish test. Alright, how do you guys think you did it? So I got a 76%. Let's review. So 1, dynamic code analysis was the answer. It was actually WPA2, yeah, I should have known that. For question 2. VDI and thin clients was correct. Unsecure protocols for question 4. Supply chain for third-party vendors. State actors for political party. VLANs for separating or segmenting the production and non-production servers. RTO is the amount of allowable downtime. Which of the following is a policy that provides a greater depth and breadth? Job rotation. Security incident recurs, steps that were taken for recovery, etc. Lessons learned. I went with tabletop walkthrough on that one. Yeah, parallel path testing, I'm not even sure what that is. I'm going to have to look that up. NIST framework was correct for North America. Comply with international standards. Oh, okay. So CIS benchmarks for OS level configurations that are not in compliance. Chain of custody, ensure admissible in proceedings. Most effective way to detect security flaws on third party, yeah, increase the amount of penetration tests. NetStat for network connections. Feign something you are. A user's account is constantly being locked out. Brute force. Company acquired several other companies. Integration and auditing. Smishing for SMS phishing. Data can become a liability if archived longer than required. Yep. VLANs for 2 subnets for production and development. Impersonation, I feel like that's definitely wrong. It should be reconnaissance. I don't see how that's impersonation, but I guess try it on this one. So it is hybrid cloud. I'd have to take a guess on this one, so I'm going to have to review the port numbers. I couldn't see the log on this one, so I had to take a stab at it. It was cross-out request forgery. Detective would be to make initially aware of a data compromise. DNS for checking up on a phishing email. DNS system log. TLS was correct for the credit card data to prevent the cloud provider to see the stored information. Yes, so you want to hash the source log files on a aggregated log files within a SIEM. Oh, I got that one wrong, okay. They want to disable email alerting and review the SIEM directly. to create a baseline of normal operations and reduce noise. Federation, connecting a user account across systems of multiple enterprises. Federation. CleanDesk was correct for SOC tours. Best policy to reduce the risk of malicious activity. CleanDesk. Okay, non-compliance with data sovereignty rules. Okay. Fixes a previously identified issue and mitigates a risk. Preventative. So I got that one wrong. I went with corrective. Acceptable use policy prevents colleagues from visiting inappropriate websites. Push notifications as an authentication method and alerting mechanism. MDM for mobile phones, setting the rules for mobile phone use. Oh, okay, I got this one wrong. So enforce the use of pins. I got that one wrong. Telnet and SSH for the unsecure protocol being Telnet and the secure replacement being SSH. Chain of custody to describe who is in possession of the documentation of evidence. Yep, so security patches were uninstalled due to user impact. Geofencing to catch up on work over the weekend, so I guess it was due to his location. DD was wrong, memory dump was right. Okay, so I guess they're gonna dump whatever was in the whatever was in the laptop's memory, so that the cyber analyst can continue to investigate it. DNSSEC to invalidate checking of integrity of zone transfers. Yeah, infrastructure as code because it's laying out the configuration. Injection, okay. Last incremental backup before the ransomware attack. Overriding was correct. And then PCI for credit card information. So I know I went pretty fast through that there. Hope you guys got more questions right than I did, and keep studying if you're out there. I'm going to be doing more of these practice exams, so stay tuned and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.